The most dangerous enemy is not a sword, but a thought. Your mind right now is like a kitchen during the dinner rush. Hot, loud, chaotic, and everyone is shouting. And you're trying to hear one single, quiet voice. The voice of what to do next. You are in a meeting. Your boss turns to you and asks for a creative idea on the spot. Your mind, which was just fine, goes completely blank. You feel the pressure like a physical weight. You stammer. You default to something safe, something unoriginal. The moment passes, and you are left with the bitter taste of a missed opportunity. You have a side project, a passion. You sit down to post about it on social media. You spend 45 minutes writing a caption, then you delete it. You choose a picture, then you change it. You analyze every possible perception. You close the app without posting anything. The blank space remains blank. You are trying to fall asleep, and then it arrives. A memory of a simple, awkward conversation from 5 years ago. Your brain replays it in perfect high definition. You feel the same cringe, the same heat in your face, the same shame as if it happened today. You are paralyzed by a ghost. You have tried solutions. You tried positive affirmations, but the voice in your head called you a liar. You tried more planning, more detailed to-do lists, but that just created more branches of anxiety. You tried to meditate, to stop thinking, and you just sat there, overwhelmed by the very noise you were trying to quiet. This is the pain of analysis paralysis. Your mind is so full of past data and future simulations that it cannot function in the present. If you know this feeling, write analysis paralysis in the comments and subscribe if you are ready for the cure. Today, you will get a simple 3-step method used by ancient warriors to silence the noise and unlock a state of pure, effortless action. This method is not about thinking better. It's about accessing a state of no mind. The samurai called it Mushin. Mushin no Shin. It means the mind without mind. This is a state from Japanese swordsmanship. The mind is not cluttered with fear, anger, or technique. It is not a state of emptiness, but a state of pure, fluid connection to the present. Your body acts correctly before your conscious mind has time to interfere with doubt. We operate under a massive misunderstanding. We believe we need to think more to act better. The truth is, we need to think less to act correctly. The system rests on 3 principles. Empty the cup. See without looking. Strike without thinking. This is where Leo comes in. Leo is 32 years old. He is the head chef at a high-pressure downtown restaurant. He works 80-hour weeks. He carries a student debt of $65,000. He survives on 5 hours of sleep a night. He wants to open his own small, peaceful cafe. A place with 20 seats where he can cook his own food. What stops him is not the money. It is his own mind. He overthinks every decision. He is terrified of failure, of losing his stable, if miserable, paycheck. The incident happened on a Tuesday night. A famous food critic was in the house. The kitchen was at peak rush. The air was thick with smoke and tension. Tickets were streaming in. Leo's mind was not on the food. It was racing through every possible mistake, every review, every consequence. He was preparing a delicate lemon butter sauce for a table of 6. For a crucial 3 seconds, he second-guessed the recipe. He hesitated. The sauce broke. It curdled into a greasy, grainy mess. He saw it happen in slow motion. He heard the frantic sizzle turn into a burnt, acrid smell. He could not make the simple decision to take the pan off the heat. He froze. The critic's review was devastating. It specifically mentioned the inexcusably poor sauce. The restaurant lost 20% of its reservations the following week. The owner put Leo on probation. His salary was cut by 20%. Leo sat alone in his apartment after his shift. The silence was loud. His internal monologue was a wrecking ball. This is it. I am a fraud. I cannot even trust my own instincts anymore. My dream is a joke. I will be cooking here in debt until I am 50. For 3 months, Leo tried to outthink his own brain. He became a consumer of certainty. He bought 10 different books on decision-making and peak performance. He spent $500 on a 2-day chef's mindfulness seminar where he learned to breathe deeply in a quiet room, a skill that proved useless in the roaring heat of his kitchen. In total, he wasted over $2,000 and countless hours chasing a solution that only added more rules, more techniques, and more things to overthink. He was trying to fill a cup that was already overflowing. The breaking point came on a quiet Tuesday night. He was alone in his apartment, surrounded by the wreckage of his research. 20 pages of notes for his dream cafe menu lay scattered on the counter. One page was a detailed financial projection. The next was a list of potential risks. They all contradicted each other. The more he read, the more the words blurred into a meaningless jumble of fear. His mind was a screaming kitchen, and every voice was his own. In a sudden, silent rage of pure frustration, he swept his arm across the counter, sending the papers flying. He slid down to the floor, his back against the cabinets, and sat there in the debris of his own ambition, utterly exhausted. He had tried everything. Nothing worked. A week later, a ghost visited the kitchen. The restaurant owner's old sensei, a retired sushi master in his 80s, came to prepare a private meal for a valued guest. Leo, humbled and curious, was assigned to assist. He expected a flurry of complex techniques, a display of ego. Instead, he witnessed a quiet ritual. The old man's movements were slow, deliberate, and utterly efficient. There was no hesitation. He was not cooking, he was allowing the food to become itself. During a quiet moment, Leo was frantically polishing an already clean plate, his mind racing with a dozen anxieties about the next course. The old man observed him with calm eyes. He placed a teacup in front of Leo and picked up a pot of steaming green tea. He began to pour. The cup filled. It overflowed. Hot tea spilled onto the counter, onto Leo's hand. Leo jerked back, startled. The old man stopped pouring. He looked at Leo, not with judgment, but with a profound, simple knowing. He spoke softly. "Your bowl is too full. You cannot receive any tea." He paused, letting the heat on Leo's skin drive the point home. "First, you must empty the cup." That night, Leo went home and did not open a book. He did not write a pros and cons list. He took a cheap notepad and a pen, and he began to empty his cup. He wrote down every single fear, every doubt, every what if that had been screaming in his head. "I am a fraud. I will fail. I will lose all my money. My food is not good enough. People will laugh. I am not a real chef. I will die in debt." He filled 6 pages with the poison. He didn't analyze it. He didn't try to solve it. He walked to the kitchen sink, held the pages over it, and lit a match. He watched the flames curl the paper, turning his anxieties into black ash and smoke. It was a physical act for a mental purge. He didn't feel enlightened. He didn't have a sudden vision for his cafe. But when the last ember faded, he noticed the silence. For the first time in months, the noise in his head had stopped. The cup was empty. It was a small, fragile space. But it was space. And in that space, for the first time, something new could finally grow. But that quiet space in his mind was about to face its first real test. A week later, the dinner rush hit. The same clattering pans, the same shouting, the same wall of heat. The old Leo would have already felt the familiar knot in his stomach, his eyes darting frantically from ticket to ticket. But this time, he did nothing. For a full 60 seconds, he just stood at his station. He wasn't planning. He wasn't prioritizing. He was just listening. He heard the specific sizzle of a fish fillet that needed to be flipped. He saw the tense set of his sous chef's shoulders, indicating she was falling behind. He felt the rhythm of the entire kitchen, not as a chaos, but as a single, pulsing organism. This was the second principle C, without looking. It's not about staring harder at one problem. It's about widening your gaze to perceive the entire flow of the situation. You take in all the data at once, without judgment, and the most important element simply reveals itself. His first action was not to his own station. He turned and placed a hand on his sus chef's arm. "I have your grill. Focus on your sources." He didn't ask. He didn't overthink the logistics. He saw the bottleneck and became the solution. For the next 2 hours, he moved like water. He wasn't cooking 6 separate dishes. He was conducting a single, fluid service. He'd slide a plate down the pass, just as a server arrived for it. He'd refill a bin of prepped vegetables moments before it ran out. He was seeing the kitchen not as a list of tasks, but as a living map of energy and motion. The result was undeniable. The final ticket was called 45 minutes earlier than on a typical Friday. The post-service cleanup involved 30% fewer errors, meaning less wasted food and less time spent recleaning. The owner, a man of few words and sharp eyes, pulled him aside. "I don't know what you did differently tonight, Leo." But the kitchen, it hummed. The following Monday, his full salary was reinstated. He was back. He was competent. He was in control. This new competence bled into his personal life. In a single, decisive afternoon, he did something that had paralyzed him for 2 years. He negotiated a 10% lower rent on a small, perfect space for his cafe. He saw the whole picture: the landlord's need for a reliable tenant, his own solid business plan, and he struck without hesitation, saving himself $5,000 a year before he'd even served his first coffee. 3 months passed. He was a machine of efficiency. His savings account for the cafe grew steadily. He had a detailed plan, a budget, and a timeline. But late at night, staring at the spreadsheets, the old fear would whisper. It wasn't a scream anymore, just a persistent, cold hum. "You're good at this job now. You have security. Is your dream really worth betting $65,000 of debt on?" The dream of his own peaceful cafe was no longer a distant fantasy, but a tangible, terrifying risk. He had mastered the chaos of the kitchen, but the chaos of his own ambition was a much more formidable opponent. The cup was empty, his vision was clear, but his hand was still hesitant to grasp the sword. For 2 weeks, the partnership offer hung over Leo like a physical weight. The owner, Mr. Henderson, had laid out the numbers: a $200,000 investment, a 49% stake for Leo, the potential to triple his income within 5 years. It was the safe harbor in the storm of his ambition. And for 14 days, Leo was right back where he started. His mind was a cacophony of spreadsheets and fears. He spent 3 whole days just comparing business loan interest rates, creating elaborate financial models that all ended in 2 ways. Either the new restaurant succeeded, and he was richer but more trapped than ever, or it failed and he was bankrupt. He lost 5 pounds. He snapped at his most trusted line cook over a minor mistake, something he hadn't done in months. The quiet space he had cultivated in his mind was gone, flooded by the what-ifs and shoulds. The night before he was due to sign the papers, he lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. His internal monologue was a relentless, familiar echo. "Who are you to think you can do this alone? Leo, the head chef who burned the sauce. Henderson is throwing you a lifeline. Your little cafe idea is a fantasy. Everyone else can take these big leaps, but you're not built for it. You were stupid to think a few mental tricks could change who you are at your core. Just sign the papers. Be grateful. Stop fighting." The next morning, in Mr. Henderson's sleek, silent office, the contract lay on the mahogany desk. The pen felt cold and heavy in his hand. Henderson was smiling, talking about floor plans and investors. Leo looked at his own hands, the nicks and scars from 20 years in a kitchen, the slight tremor from a decade of 80-hour weeks. These were the hands of a cook, not a corporate partner. To sign would be to betray them. To choose the safety of a cage over the terrifying freedom of his dream. The price of saying, "Yes," was his soul. The price of saying, "No," was everything else. He placed the pen down on the paper, not to sign, but to let it go. This was the moment for the third principle: strike without thinking. It is the final, non-negotiable step. When your cup is empty of past baggage, and your vision has taken in the entire landscape, the correct action announces itself with a quiet, undeniable clarity. You do not analyze it, you do not debate it. You commit fully and without a single second of hesitation, trusting the instinct that has surfaced from a calm mind. Leo looked Henderson in the eye, his voice calm and steady, devoid of the frantic energy that had plagued him for weeks. "Thank you for this opportunity and for your belief in me," he said. "But no, I am resigning to open my own place." He didn't have a detailed business plan. He didn't have all the funding secured. He was walking away from a six-figure salary into a void of uncertainty. But as he spoke the words, he understood something profound, not as a thought, but as a feeling in his bones. The fear of failure had not disappeared. It was still there, a constant companion. But it was no longer the loudest voice in the room. His intuition, his true self, had spoken. And for the first time, he had listened and acted as one. He had grasped the sword. 18 months later. The dream was no longer a sketch on a napkin. It was a small, sunlit space with 20 seats, warm wood, and the quiet hum of a satisfied kitchen. Mushin Cafe was real. Leo worked a clean 50-hour week as the owner and head chef. In its first year, the cafe became profitable, generating enough to clear $30,000 of his student debt. He slept 7 hours a night. The constant tension in his shoulders was gone. He was present, not just in his kitchen, but in his life. It was a busy lunch service when he saw her, a well-known food blogger, infamous for her brutally honest reviews, walked in and took a seat at the counter. The same cold dread from 2 years ago flickered in Leo's chest. The memory of the burnt sauce, the scathing review, the 20% drop in reservations. It all rushed back, a ghost demanding to be fed. He felt the old pull, the urge to freeze, to overthink every element of her meal. But then he stopped. He took a single, deep breath. He visualized the notepad, the burning pages, the act of emptying his cup. He let the ghost go. His eyes softened their focus. He didn't stare at her ticket. He saw the entire kitchen, the simmering pots, the fresh herbs waiting on the station, the rhythm of his one assistant. He saw the whole flow, and, without a second of conscious thought, his hands moved. He bypassed the regular menu. He selected the freshest sea bass, a vibrant mango, and a hint of chili. He began to plate an off-menu dish, his personal favorite, a creation that came from feeling, not from a recipe. His movements were fluid, economical, and precise. There was no hesitation, only action. The plate was a masterpiece of intuition. After the meal, the blogger gestured him over. "Chef, that was incredible. But more than that, I have to ask. This place, the energy, it's so calm. How do you stay so centered and make it look so effortless during a rush?" Leo smiled, a genuine, easy smile. "Thank you," he said. "The most difficult battles are not fought in the kitchen, but in the mind. I learned to stop fighting and start flowing. So, how can you apply this?" The system is simple. 3 steps. First, empty the cup. Every morning, or any time you feel overwhelmed, take 5 minutes to write down or voice record every single worry, fear, and thought. Get it out of your head. This clears your mental RAM. Second, see without looking. Before you dive into a task, spend just 60 seconds observing your entire environment without judgment. Take in the big picture, not just the one problem screaming for attention. Third, strike without thinking. When you feel that first clear instinct after emptying the cup and seeing the whole picture, set a 5-second timer and act. No, second guessing. Ask yourself these 3 questions. 1. What is one thing I am holding onto from the past that I need to release? 2. What is the overall picture I am missing by focusing on one small detail? 3. What would I do right now if I had zero fear of failure? Your first step: tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, take a blank piece of paper. For 5 minutes, empty your cup. Write down everything in your head, then crumple it up and throw it away. Your mind is now ready for the day. The state of Mushin is not a secret for ancient warriors or master chefs. It is a state of mind waiting for you the next time a decision paralyzes you, the next time the noise in your head gets too loud. Your sword is waiting. Will you pick it up? If this story helped you, I'd love to hear what your first strike will be in the comments. Subscribe for more, and in the next video, we'll break down how to build unshakable habits that stick.